I think we're okay without a mic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I promise I talk loud anyway.
Yeah.
I really actually thank you for finding me down here, but I'm really grateful I'm starting down here because there are as much time as I'd like to have to put into preparation for these types of things. There's never enough. So you're going to be my first little test group on this, okay?
Woo!
So we'll see how this thing goes, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. Okay, so yeah, we'll see how much time we have. I'm going to try to stack the front end of this a little bit to ensure that we get through some information. We'll see how the back end.
This is the most excited I've been for something because I know what you're presenting on.
This is a long time coming.
We're all excited.
This is a long time coming. All right, let me ask you a question first, and I am a question asker as well.
Okay, good.
Okay, will you all do me a favor? Will you spell POTS? Spell POTS out loud.
P-O-T-S.
Okay, one more time.
P-O-T-S.
Okay, what do you do at a green light?
Stop.
Go.
Oh,
All right.
We're not awake.
No, even when people are awake. So here's my point with that is it's actually a psychology thing. It's called priming. So you prime people with information expecting to get a particular answer. And so to use that analogy, what are we doing when we prime new partners? Are we priming them with good information? Or are we just not doing anything with them, right? Unless if I'm too close, just let me know. Okay? So I want to talk a lot about how we're doing there on that aspect of onboarding and getting people started. It's been a long time coming, from what I've understood, that Xyngfest has been working on some onboarding philosophies and practices. Well, historically, what I've also witnessed is that there is an effort, which is a very honest and loving effort, to make everything perfect. Get a little bit of analysis paralysis, and then things take a while. I come from a philosophy of CI, continuous improvement. So what I'm going to present to you today is a first final iteration.
Yes.
I say first final because there will undoubtedly be additional iterations and versions to what I'm going to present on to you today. But there will also going to be different perspectives and different aspects. But what we've done is we've created some foundational information within this onboarding workbook that will be timeless. And that, I think, is the most important thing.
Yes.
And it's foundational, right? It's foundational. We're not going to try to come in on a corporate side and mandate an onboarding process from the top down. That might not be a bad idea, and I'll share with you why. But at this point of the game, we're more concerned to making sure that there's a nice net. That if somebody may fall down from not having a sponsor, they're going to have a nice soft landing with information that they can still utilize to go out there and talk and build an organization and a team. And that, to me, is the most important thing. So that's what this is. It's not a mandate from top down, because undoubtedly, as leaders and as your uplines, you'll have other content that you may want to include. However, having done this for a long time, in a lot of different companies, well, not a lot, 4 actually, which I'm really proud about. 4 after over 18 years. I have friends who have been 18 companies in 18 years.
Yeah.
That's always, there's hard points at every place, right? But the perseverance and tenacity to stick through it, and then to identify a problem, and then be part of that solution is where opportunity comes, at least for us on the corporate side. Your opportunity is a little different. And so I love that we have some opportunities here to be able to build upon those sort of things. So I want to talk about this, and I want to ask a couple of additional questions here. Think about for a second when you were onboarded, when you signed up as a partner, what was that experience? What were you told? What were you informed? And Greg's laughing. Kind of
I
probably.
can make $4,000 a month.
Is that the information you got? What other information did you get?
I needed
Get
it
on the phone with everybody.
You get on the phone with everybody.
That's what I was told, and I did.
Yeah.
And I listened.
Have a meeting.
Huh?
Have a meeting.
Have a meeting. Okay.
Find 4 friends that
Yeah,
your products
find
pay
4
for.
friends. That was
That's
That's
it.
it.
That's all I
it.
had.
All right. Do you feel there could have been a little more, Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was told I could make a lot of money.
That's what you were told.
Yes.
You were told how to do that?
Yeah.
The steps, the processes.
Yes,
Yeah.
later on, yes.
Yeah, later on, perhaps. But again, initially, are we priming people with that information on really what are the steps to go? Because in this industry, we often joke that it's a bit like parenthood, right? You got grandparents and you've got kids that you gave birth to, and we're supposed to take care of those kids. And so, if you just gave birth, what are you going to do to teach and care for that infant till it comes a child, a teenager, an adult? We almost see that with some of our partners, right? Like they just need to be cared for a little bit better. And frankly, too often times we've seen individuals be born and then they're just kind of either put out for adoption or they're set on a shelf and like, I'll come back to that baby later. I got to go give birth again. Maybe I should start using a different analogy, but you get the idea, right? And so we really want to ensure that there's going to be some foundational principles so that when individuals start, they can start with greater confidence in being able to go out there and share what we have. And that, I believe, is a critical piece of information. A few months ago, I was talking with Jana Dyer when we were up at her home. And after everybody had left, she asked me an interesting question. And the question is, you know, for being almost 14 years old, 13 years old right now, well, I guess next month it'll be 14 years old, as a company, what are some of the things that could create a higher sense of growth? And perhaps maybe why may that not have happened? And I do believe that there are foundational pieces that, well, when you leave a kid to their own devices, they're going to go out and do things that may not necessarily be the right things, right? So there's some guidance that needs to happen there, and I believe that there's some additional pieces for us to take this to the next level and really grow. We're going to want to give some additional direction and some advice. I know sometimes coming from a corporate side, people will be like, wait a minute, you guys don't understand our situation. After 18 years, I can promise you I understand the situation. And for the stint of time, I was in your shoes as a strategic effort on my part to learn more. So I get it. But we need to be able to teach it and share it and how simple some things are. Here's a statistic that I believe is absolutely significant to our growth. And I'll read it because I don't like a lot of words without reading them together. Otherwise, you're reading and not listening. So organizations with standardized onboarding programs have retention rates that are higher by 50%. Welcome. And productivity rates that are higher by 62% than companies without a standardized on. There could be just one little adjustment in our collective business to be able to have our organizations grow and stick. And that's by just having a standardized onboarding process. This is, to me, a goal. It's a goal of ours to do. Today, what we're talking about is establishing some foundational pieces to get towards the standardized elements. But I would still encourage you as leaders and as part of teams of leaders is to work to align that process so there can be a consistent drumbeat in getting new people on board and ensuring that they feel comfortable about what they're embarking upon. Because again, it can be a little uncomfortable at times. Some people have just a gift. Toddy has a huge gift of just talking. I know the birds have a great gift of talking. And that's a gift. It is a gift, right? If you all talked as much as Toddy, you would be as successful as Toddy. She'll talk to anybody and anything, even if it's, All right, so this is, oh yeah, there's a lot. This is true. A true statement to me. Onboarding is everything, but not everything is included on onboarding. What do you think that means?
Don't overwhelm.
Yeah, don't overwhelm. But it is super important, right? And you can say that onboarding is ongoing. And that's another piece, that kind of that process of giving birth and helping them grow up and ensuring that they're going to be developed into productive citizens to your organization and your team. I don't know, I have to keep probably using it. It just works really well, right? Okay. All right, so what we're excited to present to you, and I did think about bringing up here and bringing a chair and doing story time and just reading the whole book to you word by word. But I'm quite confident that you can do that on your own, okay? So I'm planning to let you leave with one of these today, all right? Yep. Some open box of them, but I don't want to distract you, so I'll give it to you at the end of the presentation, okay? That's what it means to be a teacher. You got to keep their attention. You know, right? Okay. And from that, we will go through some of the critical pieces, though, of this book. Now, there's a lot in here, in my opinion, and that's by design. We worked with the executive team, the owners, and then a group of distributors as well to ensure that there is a sense of, yes, this can be a great first final draft, right? And then in a few months, we'll get some feedback. We'll go make some little tweaks. We'll take it under advisement, and then we will print out some more, and then we'll move forward. But I really believe that in 6 months, we'll have some iterations, and then in a year, there may be some little better things, but then we need to run with it.
Yes.
We need to honestly just run with it because there are things that are already good. And oftentimes we waste some time thinking about what could be and should be, when the reality is there's universal principles in here that are going to be just perfect for the next 10, 20, 30 years to come. So that's where I'm excited to. At some point, it's going to be the final.
Yes.
But this is the first final, all right? So we'll talk about some of the critical pieces that reside within this onboarding booklet. And these are seeing things, we refer to them in the book as a share, teach, and ask approach. There's different philosophies and different words and synonyms that can apply to this, but these are the elements in which you'll find as you read through the book. Has a little bit of the introduction in terms of the company, a little bit on the product, but it's primarily, probably 90% of this booklet is about the principles of sharing and getting someone to understand as they begin what it takes to go out there and talk to individuals and to people. And let me back up on this real quick. There we go. And so we want to set this up in the first little part. You'll see that there are pieces that just set the foundation, that giving people a sense of like, okay, I can go share the product. Now, I am the type of guy that I believe the word share and the word sell are very different. Okay? And so you're going to hear me talk a little bit about getting individuals more comfortable with the idea of selling. Okay? Because selling is a transfer of emotion. That's all it is. But we understand that when people share, there's a comfortability with share. I can share what I have because I'm not asking for anything. I'm just giving in something. But in order to sell, at some point you do need to ask.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's something that we miss a little bit, is we are amazing sharers. We can share the product, we can share our story, and you do those things. We'll talk about those things. You do all that. At some point you have to ask. But what are you asking? Hey, I shared it with you. Great. I mean, really, like, what would you ask after you shared?
Will you join me? Will you make a purchase?
Yeah. But is there a value proposition that you're selling or asking against, right? So we'll talk about, yeah.
I think that in sharing is we're making a connection.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do make a connection. They're highly valuable on that. And so you'll see throughout the book in this presentation that there's going to be the idea of sharing your story, making that emotional connection with individuals, and ensuring that you are authentic in that message, but also there's going to be an effort to ask questions and listen. Because maybe some years ago, the idea of sales was a negative thing. But sales really is an effort to listen and to identify a need, and then you can ask against that need. And that becomes a lot easier to close. Okay? So, we'll go through some things. So the first thing, I shared this last year, this year, last time in Vegas. And these are what I refer to just universal axioms of selling. We can call it whatever else, but they are absolute axioms, just universal truths. That first one is you increase the benefit of our offering when you listen to the buyer. Because as you ask a question, and you say, hey, Jamie, I'll use Jamie since Melissa's filming. Jamie, how are you doing today?
Fantastic.
How's the kids?
Good answer. Doing all right.
Did your husband come out with you today for the trip?
He'll be here this evening.
Oh, he'll be here. Perfect. Was he doing some other work?
Yeah, kids.
Kids. Yeah, kids. Bless their heart, right?
Yeah.
Are they doing anything exciting?
No, they got football today, final championship game.
Oh, very cool. And they're holding up all right then, the whole season? No injuries?
They're good and they're undefeated, so.
Oh,
I
awesome.
can watch via phone.
Oh, we should do that. I'm sure. Don't show Greg. That's all they'll pay attention to. That's really great that they hung up. Did you feed them any good nutrition to make sure that they were strong and healthy through the year?
Always. He has the same things we do.
Yeah,
You know?
okay, all right. Hey, how'd you feel?
Engaged
You felt
and mattered.
You mattered. That's it, right? That you actually cared because I'm asking questions about you. And I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm not thinking of some other response to say, hey, all right, how do I really get to my objective?
But your questions are guiding to your objective.
They are, yep.
But you
That's
didn't
a
say,
skill, right?
the minute I said football, you didn't say, oh, you should get the spring, or oh, you should get, I mean, you didn't,
That's right.
you gave it time to get there later.
And the conversation will naturally get to the point. Once I ask enough questions, I undoubtedly, if you ask and listen enough, you're going to identify that could be a potential solution. There's 4 things. This doesn't get in the book, so forgive me because I will get random thoughts, but they're important, I think. There's 4 different personalities that I love to listen to when I ask questions. And I listen to the red personality, which is people about the money. They want to drive and they want to make a lot of money. And I'll listen to that. I'll ask questions that might prompt that thinking. Or I'll ask questions that are green associated, which are the analytical. They just care about science and details and analysis paralysis. I get a little worried about those people because they tend to overthink things rather than making a decision. So I have to be a little, once I identify that, okay, is that really who they are? Because if that is, they're going to be a slow boat person. Or I look at them from a yellow person. They're a cause-driven individual, somebody who wants a purpose, be part of a movement, help individuals maybe accomplish goals, be part of a foundational element that's giving back in one way or another. We've got some things there. Or is the blue personality just wants to go party a little bit and just wants to go have fun with community, right? All right, well, I'm going to talk about passport program, right? I'm going to talk about those types of things with them. But in each one of those 4 categories, I believe everybody resides. And then from those 4 categories, I already know in my mind what the solution that I'm going to propose to them that Xyngler can offer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Kind of? Okay. Maybe we'll get into that another training. That's not a lot.
Are we going to do this to where it's recorded so that we can share it with our team members?
I'm sure there's probably Melissa Corbin.
Melissa, share.
I'll make it into a YouTube.
All right, so this is the first one. I believe heavily in this because I really want someone to know that I care about them. And if I ask more questions, they're going to feel that they're cared about and their opinion matters. This is talked about a little bit.
But not interrogated, right?
But not interrogated. Be authentic. Be genuine. At some point, here's the mistake. At some point, I could say, oh, my kids played football too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my son hurt his leg. Oh, you know what happened to me? You got to avoid that, right? As much as do a quick connection, say, oh, I understand what you say, my son does that, but tell me more. You see what I'm saying? So you make that connection still throughout, be authentic, but the second you make it about you, you lose. Let me say it one time. The second you make it about you, you lose. I said it quiet, but you all know. Okay. All right, oops. Okay, this is the other one. No one will make a purchase without having a need or a want. Is that true?
100%. Yep.
Right? No one nowadays is going to. I got aggressive. No one nowadays is going to go spend their hard-earned money on something that they do not need. Right? At least our community, people we love. There's other people out there that have way too much money and don't know what to do with it. We'll be there. No. But truly, this is something that we need to seek after. Through asking questions, we're going to identify those wants and those needs. Because that's something that we get to identify later in onboarding of what their why is. Remember what you just said. And it helps with closing, it helps with everything. When you really can find that need. Which again, does it happen in one conversation? Likely not.
It can.
But it can. Honestly, guys, just pull Talia aside. She got somebody on the plane, right?
And it was because I was listening and I heard that by February she has to come up with an extra $700 because her mortgage is coming up. And so I just built the relationship. I phoned her the other day and said, hey, I would like to buy you a kit, give me your SIN number, your birth date, your credit card and everything. But it was because I listened to her the whole 2.5-hour flight. And now we're, going to get her stuff and she's going to get started.
Yep.
Because I've given her a solution to her problem, which she needed an extra $700 a month by February.
See, there you go.
Right?
You know
But
it.
I talk a lot, but I also listen a lot. So I listen to all her pain buttons
I
on the
was
plane.
wondering where you were going to go with that.
Honestly, Tani's a great example of that.
She is.
Because I truly believe. But see, she obviously got to that point. You had a 2-hour confinement with them.
Yeah.
But at some point, if they're in a hurry, it's okay to if you even have a 30-second elevator pitch, oftentimes it's more about them. And if you can quickly find a need, hey, I'd love to get your contact information. And sometimes people don't want to give out their phone numbers, you know, but this is where social media is amazing. Hey, where can I find you? Where can I find you on Facebook? Where can I find you on Instagram? Right? And that's a lot less like invasive than what's your phone number. It's like asking someone what's your social security number nowadays, right? So a lot less invasive. They say, how can I find you on Facebook? You seem like a really fun person. Plus, I'd love to get to know you a little bit better, right? Keep it casual. Anyway, but the point here is that we need to identify that need, and we do that through listening and asking questions. Okay, the greater the need, the greater the value you can offer. And this is another truth, right? We will talk about whatever way that you bring somebody on, whatever kit, whatever program, if it's gut health, if it's energy, if it's the weight loss, whatever else it is, there's various ways you can bring someone on. But the ones that really can start driving value in the product are going to be able to ask for more volume. I'll put it that way, okay? It's okay, you can ask someone to spend $500 when the need is equal to $500. Okay? Too often times we try to get to know someone really quick and then we just throw $500 like, oh, you don't even know me. You don't even know my problems. Why are you asking for $500? Yeah. But if you ask the questions and you identify some needs and you say, wow, you have pain in your knee, or you have a desire to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, whatever. Well, why do you want to do that? It's just like last night I was talking to Jill. I couldn't get her last name. Her name's Jill. And she was kind of telling an experience and a story and she's really okay with this because she told everybody, and I think she's probably even told you guys in some event in the past, but basically she couldn't go on a zip line with her son, who wasn't old enough to go, but her other son had to go. Yeah. You know Jill? Yeah. Okay.
I know, yeah.
So that was like a significant emotional quotient that drove her to accomplish what she has with Xyngfest, which is a beautiful story. Yeah. So you identify that emotion. I don't know what kit she came in with, but that's a $500 need. Yeah. It's a $500 value. She said, absolutely, I'll spend that to be on that path with you. And the truth is we all have them, right? And sometimes people are closed off nowadays, but be genuine and be authentic, be loving, be caring. People will fill it. Will everybody? No. No, but do we need everybody? No. Right? Sometimes you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. All right, the last one. Okay, you just don't sell products. Building relationships. This is one thing about Xyngfest that I truly believe in. I truly believe that it can become even better than it is now, and that's our community. And that's the one team, one dream that has been talked about of years past, whatnot, can absolutely be true, because I continue to see it even now, this event, how individuals are willing to help anybody and do those types of things. So in fact, last night, who was it with last night? There's a lot of great stories from last night. We were talking to, Dana Knott. I don't think he's part of someone on Lori's team, but Lori's not necessarily on Dana Knott's team, and then Dana Knott was helping somebody else that was maybe on, I don't know, some other teams. But they had a gal on the phone, and this gal who's here, I didn't catch her name, she's introducing everybody, and she's highlighting this fact about, like, you got to come to the next event in Oklahoma City, and you've got to be able to meet all these people. It's a great community. That's amazing. That supports this idea of building relationships. Because if they can identify that there is a relationship, there's a community that wants them here, then we can go sell those products. Are you serious? Okay, I got to go faster. Less story time. Okay, I'm going to bring a few things up really quick. These are things that Rudy talked about yesterday. Rudy talked about yesterday. When partners come in, there's different resources and tools, as he shared. That just really struck a chord with a lot of people, so we love that he shared it again. But once you use that tool, that resource to get them in, you don't continue to do that. What you do at that point is you identify their goals, what they want, their needs. And you should have done that through some processes in getting to know them. But even at that point, if you haven't, and quickly stated, is that identify the need, or identify the why so clearly that why will push them past fear. And I would even ask you, do you have a why that's strong enough that pushes you past fear? Okay? And if not, find it. Ask the why to the why to the why, right? Why do you want that? Why do you want that? Why do you want that? We do an exercise, I don't have time. But once you have that why that's so strong that it'll push you past fear, it doesn't matter how you engage people. Engage them on social, engage them in the store, engage them, here in the lobby, engage them. You just talk to people. See, Todd has zero fear. This is the only event I can refer to you as much because I'm going to move to another room. And I don't know who else will be there. No, that'll be great. So I get the whys, and he talks about that. What are the goals? You get them off. What are their goals? What are their objectives? What are their whys? You create a list of names, okay, just like you guys did. Some of you, the list of names of who to go and talk to. Who do you know? Who do you know? And that's where I think a lot of people feel a little bit like intimidated. It's like, yeah, I know these people, but how do I even approach them, talk to them? There's a process in that we can talk to. Anyway, but that's where you share your stories. And if you don't have initial story, this is one thing that is a universal truth. If you don't have a story initially, then borrow somebody's. It's okay. There's a lot of stories to borrow with Singular. And then you'll get your stories as you move on. But sometimes people wait to get a story before they feel like they can share. But the truth is that I'm starting this journey. Here's some people who I'm excited to follow. Join me now. Be part of the journey with me now. So that there's no need to wait. Try to help them see that and understand that vision. Okay. In here we talk a lot about the 2x2 as the process as well. And remember, 2 is not this magic number you have to do. It could be 1. In fact, please let it be even 1. But if it's more the merrier, but the idea that we want to talk to 2 or more people a day, okay, in some fashion. It's not necessarily on social media. This isn't a post. This is actual conversation. So do the posts, do the things, but then ensure in your mind that you're thinking about how to talk. And that's, again, expressed in this. There's a lot I got to go through. What time does it tell? Like 45 after? Okay. Share with someone that has never before talked to about Singular products. Again, this is where you fill the pipeline. We heard about some of those things yesterday from individuals from the stage. You got to keep talking to individuals and engaging with them, and it gets into this a little bit more. So I'm grateful that there's a resource you can walk out with today for the sake of time. Let me know. Let them know how partying with Singular helps them earn extra cash. Absolutely, right? But that should be identified through the needs analysis and talking to individuals and say this is a solution that can really help you move towards your goals that you want to achieve. I would even just say to some extent, well, I actually have a tool on this. I'm demonstrating what that looks like, the actual extra cash. We want to follow up with 2 people. So the first part is to talk to people. The second part is to follow up with people. Have those of you that have been in the industry for a while have heard a term called fortunes in the follow-up, right? But I put a little nerd to it, and that is to say that if you know mathematical equations and spreadsheets and stuff like that, there's if and then statements. And so I add this, that if fortune's in the follow-up, okay, if you believe that, if that is true, then create follow-up. It's an action item. Create the follow-up. So if there is fortune in the follow-up, then create follow-up. So Jared McBee talked about yesterday that he's having a meeting Monday as soon as he gets home. In every meeting he does an SNE. You know what SNE is? Schedule next event. So what's the next event? Always SNE. That's a follow-up. That's the next step. And even after someone engages and signs up, you onboard them and you SNE them. That sounds really weird. If you don't know what that means, it sounds like a legit word. Yeah, I'll say it. Sorry, night events. Schedule next event, because that's the next step. And so sometimes that scheduling the next event may be training a little. Oh, Jared,
yeah,
there you are.
Yeah.
See? I'm gonna Hey, all right. So, change who you follow up with. The list should grow every day, right? We get some of these principles, and that's why it's foundational. So some of these things are like, well, Bill are those, but that's why they're in the onboarding books. They're foundational pieces. Don't forget to follow up and talk to your customers. Your customers are your customers. You guys understand that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They buy Singular products, but they're your customers. So we don't take ownership to that, at least in my perspective. We don't take ownership to your customers. They're your customers. So if you expect us to care for your customers, we're going to miss the mark. They're your customers. So make sure you talk to them, you care for them, you understand their needs, their situations, the time and appropriation to ask, hey, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to need money? Hey, I know that your car broke down. Do you want to do this now? Right? They're your customers, and that's a delineation. We can still market to your customers, and you leverage what we market, but they're your customers. That's a given. Squirrel. And then, of course, hosting meetings, right? Is what Jared does. You know. Okay. All right. So hosting meetings face to face, not necessarily chat to chat or message to message. Okay. It's relationship, right? It's understanding, it's seeing them. The industry-long belly-to-belly element got lost. And this is something else. I'm going to do it anyway. I was at this thing on Tuesday before, and there was a CEO that was presenting of a $1 billion company in our industry, and he was just talking about his experiences. And you know what? They are having the same opportunities to improve that we are, and that really boils down to this: talking to people, having face-to-face conversations. The notion I shared the other night was that muscle memory that we build over years, sometimes it can happen quicker, so we want that too. That muscle memory, when you stop doing the things that enhances muscle memory, then what happens? Atrophy. Your muscles forget, right? You can't do the things you used to do. And so that's what happened during COVID. Stop doing the things that we knew we needed to do. So we've got to build that back. He's saying the exact same thing. So I actually look at that as like how significant of opportunities that we have, because if we can become better faster than they can, then we're going to go recapture some of their market share. Make sense? Anyway, so I get really, really excited about these foundational pieces. If we can get there quicker, we're going to win. Okay? All right. Anyway, yes, meet with people, have meetups. In the book, we talk about this. I'm really, really excited. A lot of people have adopted to this. These examples are examples. Okay, again, the model works with the right amount of volume, and I'll show you what the model looks like. In the booklet, there's a QR code that you can grab this resource, but we refer to this X5 system, which basically talks about this. Okay. Now, again, a little bit modification on the document that you'll pull up, because we identified that necessarily giving and forcing these on people may or may not be what they want or what their customer needs or the partner needs, but this still allows the example, okay? So, in this, when I was sitting down, so this is a prospecting tool, but when you're onboarding, you want to teach them how they can go prospect to people and demonstrate. This X5 system has three parts. Has a, how do I get my money back, ROI, shows a little vision as to what can be accomplished, which people love, and it's like on the back side, it's like, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? And then there's a big list of copy. But here's how this works. When you get individuals in, and let's just say at $345 PV, the kit cost, $345 PV, you can memorize this. Don't let this get overwhelming to you. The math is super simple, which is why I love our compensation plan. It is so easy, so straightforward, no gotchas, no hidden tricks. I love it. Okay, so you sign somebody up, okay, $345. You want to write their names in on this. You know, give an example. Write it in. Is your prospect, who do you know? Oh, you know Peter Pan? Great. Who else do you know? Mickey Mouse? They're on here. Oh, there's Mickey Mouse. Okay? So the idea is you write them in and you say, okay, look, if you get $345, you get $345, and all of you guys are coming in the same kit, because chances are, as you talk to them, they're going to say, I don't know, what kit did you do? Well, I did. I forgot I put that on there. It's like, what are you guys laughing at? Oh yeah, Taylor Kelsey. I should not do those kind of things that distract myself, but they're so funny. I get these funny, stupid things in my head, and I just have to do it. Anyway, their chances are Taylor Kelsey will say, "Hey, what kit did you come in with?" Well, I did the X Plus, right? So it's a very easy example, but you get those 5. That's a total of 1,725 PV. Okay. From that, we pay 20% on the wrap rewards. That's $345. See the math?
Yep.
20%, 5. Okay.
Yep.
We all got it. We all got it. Okay. You do that within 30 days. Well, you're going to get an extra $100 because you got more than 500 PV. And you've got more than 4 people. Okay. So that's QSB elements. And then you've obviously done the QSB 2. So we're over 1,000. There's another $100. So now, what's your ROI? $545. So return on your investment, you've got it back. And yes, there's going to be some shipping and taxes and elements to this, but you made a little bit more. So that just easily shows this is how you're going to get your money back. Just go get 5 people to do the same thing that you did. Now, there does need to be some volume in here, right? Because the requirements to be able to get the QSB bonuses need to be at a higher point. You okay if I'm talking a little faster?
Yep.
Okay, because we're done. But
And this month it's double.
And this month is double. Todd is on the list. Oh, we need to remember to do that, Kaylee. So, anyway, fun example to show how they can get their money back. The next part is this whole idea about casting vision. So at this point, 1725, well, what Xyngfest does in our compensation plan is that for your ranks, you include your volume as well. And so that 345 PV is added to that, which totals out to be 22,070 points. Well, at that point, guess what? Your manager, you hit it. Great job. So this is where you're casting a little vision for them. So you look, you're gonna do that. You're gonna get some extra bonuses in there, which aren't even included on this 545. You're going to get an extra manager bonus because of the pools, because the company's amazing. It allows everybody in the pool early on in the organization, in the ranks, and not necessarily reserved for the top. It's amazing. So here you go, average income for that, and then just refer to the XIS. Okay, look, 412. How cool is that as a manager? Right? And then you come in here. Well, if you do 5 of those people, you do 5 individuals, then that's 2,000, 10,000. You're a gold manager. You do that twice in 2 consecutive months, then you get a trip. So you start showing how this 5 pattern builds out. And oh, what does a gold manager average? $1,500 bucks. That's pretty sweet, right? Well, what if those 5 gold managers become, that's 10,000 total. That's then, or 10,000, right? And then 50,000 for the volume your platinum director. And that twice, you're gonna get a cruise. Okay, what is that? They average earn about 9,000 bucks. Do you get this? Mm-hmm. So this resource is in the book. You'll see, you'll find it, and then there you are, Silver Executive.
Where's that guide?
What's that?
Where's that one?
Where's what one?
Is it in the book too?
Yeah, yep, it's in the QR code in the book. Yep. So anyway, so what do they make? Silver Executive, $21,000 a month. Wow, sweet, right? And you're on your journey. You're making things happen, and then all of that through all the trips and incentives that we offer. Right? Okay. I feel forced. You're my beta, my first group. I know what I need to do next time.
You're doing great.
Less squirrely on my part. Okay. So there we have it. I think I had that was it. So with that being said, Kaylee will grab you and get you a book. You know, I would love constructive feedback, but these are going to begin being shipped in the initial enrollments for new partners starting on the 25th.